So this is that very interesting, unfortunately, a complicated case of a 80-year-old with recent non-STEMI, severe, uh, uh, quite class 3, class 4 symptoms with double vessel disease, came in for a PCI to his LAD and to his circumflex. So you can see that he's got a LAD and circumflex. The right coronary artery is okay. There is no narrowing in this. But sorry about this, was a first complication, bubbles. So this was something that is very unusual but does happen. Then we flushed it and then checked it again. So this is now severe narrowing. So as far as the bubbles concerned, just to say that in a very experienced centers like ours, with a lot of experience of the second operator himself, an excellent technician, we can still inject bubbles if you're not careful. So that could lead to a disaster. But so in any case, double wire, and we ballooned it, and we thought gonna do a JKST. Opened up the thing quite well. You can see that the AV circumflex opened up, and everything going very smoothly. Stent was not fully expanded, so we thought now the stent is not fully expanded. So the first issue happened when we went in and expanded the stent with a 3.5 millimeter balloon. So the first complication is a no flow. So we went in, kept on treating this with multiple pharmacology, and eventually got some flow back. And once we got flow back, we had used a aspiration catheter to go distally and get the flow back. Then we did the LED and ballooned the LED, and then this again the flow hadn't come back totally, so we used aspiration catheter, and there is still no flow distally here. So we thought that, I mean, this LED was done just to get some ischemic out there. There was some ST elevation. Now finally we managed to get this flow back in this vessel. So after we got the flow back, we thought we had done over with. We were trying to remove the wire. Then on second thought that we leave the wire here and put a third wire in the diagonal. So we put a third wire in the diagonal and put a stent in, did a JKST, and so finally this was a good result. We managed to keep that diagonal open, everything going on fine. But please note the wire here distally in the OM. This is just to give you a hint additionally. So alright, so everything going on okay. Keep on watching the wire. It was coming back on itself after we did all this. So finally the results okay, everything seems okay. There's no narrowing, no residual narrowing, everything seems to be open. A little bit of dissection in the AV circumflex, nothing to write home about. LED view, everything okay. So, but in the last view, this is the last view, suddenly noted this. There's a little bit of dye here. Now why is that? Suddenly noted by the second operator that there is some dye here. So we looked at it in another view, and there is, as you can see, you can, let me show you again. You can see dye here, and in the last view you can see this dye. Look at this. So there is dye. It's not very clear where it's coming off from, probably the LED. We thought it's a distal wire perforation, so everything should be okay. We looked at it in another view, And in another view, there was still some dye here. Uh, there's still some dye here. So we thought we'll just take a picture and see. So there is some effusion here. And I'll show you the echo, which shows a very small effusion. Patient was stable, people was okay.
So there is a circumferential small effusion that one can note, but there is no significant wall motion. There is no tamponade, obvious tamponade at this time. Just post PCI, the small wire perforation. So we thought we can probably sit on it for a while and maybe see how things go at this time. There wasn't any diastolic compression or anything else that one could see here, except for maybe 20-30 ml of fluid. The blood pressures were fine, so at this stage we kept him on observation. But this was only for half an hour.
30 minutes down, the blood pressure started dropping in the CCU, and the patient was quite unwell. And then we had to bring him back and put a drain in, because there was significant amount of effusion. So we put a drain in, and this is the dye that we gave in and made sure that there's a lot of blood going around in the pericardium. So we sort of knew that we were in trouble.
This is just a quick echo before we shifted the patient to the cath lab, and you can see that there is a significant tamponade occurring. The effusion has increased in size significantly.
So now after 5 hours of pharmacotherapy, reversal by protamine, monitoring his blood pressure, reviewing fluid, there was more than 200 ml of fluid coming every 20 minutes or so, and the perforation was not sealing off. So now the options were very limited. The patient blood, we had reversed the thing, heparin, the ACT was around 120 now. We had given him blood, but the patient was not stabilizing. So and this was blocking off also, so we needed to replace this. And then we went back in and we discovered this, that there was this on the ipsilateral side, there was this effusion, and you can see the extent of effusion. You can see the extent of the effusion. That, look at this. There's a jet coming off from this OM. There's a round thingy, and there's a jet. This is the perforation, and it's a large perforation, probably jets coming off. So
now the options were pretty limited. Either we go in and coil it. We didn't have appropriate coil, so we were going to cut the end of a soft coronary wire, but then found that we had gel foam which was used on the peripheral chap. So this is gel foam, and this is how it's prepared, or we did prepare, scrape it off, and then accumulate it and put it in a 3 ml syringe, mix it, agitate it so that it turns into very small particles. As you can see, this is now being agitated, collected, put in a syringe after the stoppers being removed, and now you connect it with a 3-way cork stopper, and then agitate it. This would then give you preparation that would hopefully seal the distal perforation by forming a tight gel and thrombus there. So this is how we did prepare and inject it. As you can see now, that we were injecting it, and fortunately this was successful in clotting off the distal OM here.
ये बात
So now the option is, but we had planned coiling, but we thought we'll first make sure that there are no double perforation. So this was probably the only perforation, and it was not the LED which we had initially thought, but still we were not sure. So this is the perforations coming off from here, and there's a thin tail because of vasospasm, the body trying to. So then we put a catheter in, and micro catheter, injected dye in it, made sure that we were dealing with this perforation pathway, and then we put in gel foam. And then we put in gel foam and we rechecked it, and the perforation had sealed. So this again, the perforation had sealed now after 5 ml or 3 ml of gel foam, and you could see that now there is no extravasation of blood. And we took a couple of other pictures, and this is the OM, this is where the perforation was, and this was probably, if you relate back to the CD, you will see that the wire had caused this. There was dye hold up here, which is a good sign of the dye that we had given it. So this is a lesson again for us after years and years of never seen this wire perforation. This was the first time soft wire perforation in an 80-year-old.
So this is now my post PCI echo, post occlusion after we've occluded the gel foam, and this seemed okay. There wasn't anything there. We had removed everything, but and very small amount of fluid, maybe 20-30 ml. And so the LV was contracting well. There was no wall motion abnormality. Doesn't seem to be any significant infarct being caused. And so this was pretty successful.